Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are again.
Yes. Yes, again, because we have worked together before, but this was a most unusual project. And I want to ask you, since it was so unusual the way the original melody came to be, I want to know what you thought when I called to tell you that during my meditation, a melody just insinuated itself and came right out of me. All I was doing was really and then I did every morning. Finally, I had to call you.
So was it the same every morning?
Every morning.
And the same melody kept coming back to you.
And I didn't forget it. I have a friend who does play oboe, and she said she's heard music before, but when she wakes up, it's gone. This was persistent and constant.
Well, I thought, well, there must be something, meaningful and perhaps deeply spiritually, important about that melody, and it did sound a little bit like some Jewish prayers that but I couldn't say specifically. Maybe my cantor friends might know if they ever find out if there's it could be some deeply a deep memory that from a long time ago that but because I know you and I both have Jewish backgrounds and
yes, we
grew
do.
up listening to lots of Avinu Malkeinu, that's one that kind of it has a little bit of that quality but not quite the same.
I think it's the vibratory portion of it that makes it sound like that. I did call a friend and I sang it to her, and she said nope, she never heard anything like that.
Well, the closest thing I could think of was the opening to the song "I'm Reviewing the Situation," which is from Oliver, and you of course know that as being a theater person, and I think I mentioned it. It reminded me a little bit of that, so that sort of helped me think of, well, if we think of what that song does, and it kind of goes into a major key, and so I was like, well, I that kind of gave me some ideas, and I thought, well, maybe we can make this into a song, and
of course, that's a patter song to move the story along in the show, and I think that the bond is more of a ballad.
It definitely. Yeah, we didn't get into that part, but the I think knowing you and personally and what you've been through in the past few years and what I've been through, I think we share some common experiences in life. We had a bond in that sense, and
we do.
So I was like, well, let's see where it goes. Maybe we can make something out of this, and I think you had talked after we worked together on Break a Leg. I think you had mentioned the idea of working on something else with me, and I was like, well, maybe but I was reluctant, I think.
But that was about 2 years ago, and that never came to be. Not all ideas get flushed out.
Right.
However, you took to this very nicely. And when I heard you just play notes into a piano without paper notes, I was a little flabbergasted.
Hey, Sonia. Hey, it's Michael. So I just listened to your voicemail and the little melody that you've been humming, and here's what I'm hearing. It sounds to me like it's in the key of A minor. Okay, and I don't know if you can see this all right, but it's sort of like, right, and then maybe you could so this, that's like the first half of a phrase, right? So it needs an answer. It's like a question and answer. So that's the question, but the answer might be. What's the big thing? I don't know. So that's the second half that kind of completes the phrase. Let me. Right? Does that sound good?
But you offered to be my musical midwife. And I think you became the doula
Is there
and
a
eventually the OB.
Yeah. Is there a mid-husband thing? I don't know if male midwives are. That's probably a thing nowadays, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah, that was the closest analogy I could think of was, well, you have this idea inside of you, and let's get it out. Let's bring it to life. And and it was really fun to work with you. We had a lot of back and forth about things. I think the lyrics, you said they came right
out of the meditation. And
yeah.
I've heard people say that the spirit needs to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
And this became a format for a story. Mm-hmm. And so it flowed quite easily. And we were very fortunate that you knew so many musicians who could be a part of it.
Indeed, yeah. Right. I mean, I definitely was calling on, because when I first thought about the piece, I definitely heard it in my head as a guitar and a singer, a female singer.
Right.
So it was, I just, I sent you like a demo version, but just singing it myself with, a synthesizer guitar. And I was like, this is just, just to give you an idea, but what I'm really hearing. I long to feel your arms protecting, loving me. Our days and nights a distant, lonely memory. I dreamed our day of sun under a canopy. You spoke of love and fate and joy so tenderly. I really need a real acoustic, and the guy that came to mind immediately was Ed Stevenson, who has made many recordings. He's one of the top, classical acoustic guitar players that I know, and I just thought he would be the right guy. Just kind of had a good feeling that he would bring the right kind of energy and the right sound. And
Wanda Robichaud, she has that kind of mournful, soulful sound that comes out of her, which fit the lyrics perfectly.
Yep.
Perfectly.
Definitely. So, and we had to do all this, at different times. We couldn't really get everyone together in a studio because of the COVID. That was.
But we did.
But we did, yeah.
We did. We got everybody came together at CAM, the Contemporary Art Museum downtown.
Yes, I should say shout out to Gabby
Smith,
who let us in and
had the key.
Yep, and let us use the space, and then we had to put everyone.
6 feet apart.
So speaking of the string quartet, I should mention that that came kind of as a later, it was like, well, we have this song, right? And then we were thinking about, well, we'd like to put this out on YouTube or something, and so others can enjoy it. But it was a little short. It felt like it needed a little something more. So
and we enhanced it with the interlude.
Yeah. So I was like, I have this interlude, in my head, and I trust me, it'll sound good. But it took me a while to get that all written up, and then to get I sent you, I think, again, a synth version, and that you were like, yes, that sounds good. And
Yeah.
so we went back and forth on that quite a bit. And then we got the players were available. That was also fortunate in a way that this happened during a pandemic and nobody was gigging. So, we were able to kind of call up the some excellent players, and they were happy to do it, and everybody was came prepared. We just did it in a couple hours. And
I tell you what
knocked it out.
struck me as a non-musician is that I was watching them play and they liked it. It's not that they just came to
It's lucky for me.
to bow notes.
Yeah.
They
No,
actually felt the music,
Mm-hmm.
and they told me so afterwards.
Mhm.
So I was very, very thrilled with all
Me
of
too.
them.
Yeah, me too. As a
we-
composer,
and we-
you hope
yeah.
that people, you don't want to be like making them play something that they don't like playing. So
And we followed all the rules. We were 6 feet apart, all of the musicians. Everybody wore a mask. We did it the right way.
Yep. Of course, once we had the string quartet, I'm like, well, now we need dancers. So, right?
Yes.
So we had, fortunately, it took a little while to think about, well, who do I know? And I know some folks from the ballet, and everybody's, busy. But thankfully, my friend Willie Hinton had an interest and was willing to put in the time and did an amazing job. He found these 2 young dancers. I guess they're students at the City Ballet, in
right.
Raleigh, and boy, they're just Diana and Caleb. They were both just perfect for the.
It was quite amazing
Yeah.
because in the beginning we thought we would need adult
Mhm.
ballet dancers because the content of the lyric is serious, and
Right.
we didn't think that people that young, they're only 15 and 16 years old, but they did the acting part of it as well. You could see on their faces the beginning when everything is lovely and beautiful and happy, and then when what do you call that, harsh music comes and interrupts the wonderful time of their life, and their faces change and their body movements change. And they did a superb job of really portraying the lyric in movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very, very happy with them. Very proud of them.
Yeah. Everything came together beautifully. We had a great videographer, Jackie Otoño, who was available. As it turned out, I mean, she was going to move to Puerto Rico, but again, the pandemic, So in a way, I mean, the pandemic brought us together, and we managed to make what I hope is a piece of art, expressing, that helps. For me, it was very helpful. I think, to be able to get some of those feelings out that, grief and loss that I've experienced, and I think
that we both experienced.
We both-
we have
yeah.
that in common. It's part of the bond itself.
Indeed.
Because we work together so well. And I also feel, and I think you do too, that all the people who suffered loss during this horrible pandemic may be able to relate and resonate with the mood and the feeling and all the terrible things that happened with gunshots and protesting. More lives were lost. So people who lost suffer. And we hope that this would be soothing individually to whoever relates to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's one of the most powerful functions of art is kind of like you said, was it Yo-Yo Ma?
Yes.
Music is a form of
Music is-
medicine,
yes,
as
it
can
is.
be. And so absolutely, I believe that. And I hope that this piece can help to bring healing and bring peace. So thank you, Sonia, for getting this thing going. And
Thank you, Michael, for keeping it going.
Yeah. It's been great to work with you.
Good to work with you, too.
All right.
Thank you.